Well, here it is, the epilogue, the very end of a dog's promise. An epilogue wraps everything in the book together and tells you what happens in the future. So let's see what happens. Let's see what Oscar's true purpose is. A few days after we all swam in the underbarn, we gathered in a big building, and Grant and Wentling and I stood in front of a crowd of people, and I chewed an itch at the base of my tail, and people cheered. When the leaves began falling, we all trooped back to the same building, and this time Lehman and Chase Dad stood in front of people, and I did not have an itch. A winter and summer passed, and my life with Lacey, who the humans insisted on calling Janji, and Ava and Burke, who kept the same names, was very happy. Ava and Burke were happy because they had 2 dogs. I was thrilled at how much time we spent at the farm. There was a new house and a new barn, but the same ducks. I did assist with Lacey whenever she wanted to roam off the driveway and into the fields, and she understood that I was there to guide her. Burke took Lacey down to the pond and lifted her out of the chair and held her in the water. She batted in the pond surface with her front paws, but when Burke released her, she was swimming. I joyously padded out to be with her, and together we made a go at the ducks until they flapped away, and then we just swam in circles. I understood something then. As much as Lacey liked the chair, this freedom to swim made her feel like the dog she used to be, a dog who could go anywhere she wanted. Apparently everyone enjoyed building houses, because when they finished building one, they put in another down by the pond. Ava and Burke moved in, and then Lacey and I never left the farm. I thought of our place as a new house, and the bigger one as a new old house. We had a big gathering at the farm so that everyone could sit in chairs and watch Lacey and me stand with Burke and Ava while they talked. And then people had a wonderful dinner of chicken, and Lacey and I were richly rewarded at the tables. We're married now, so you and Janji are legitimate, Oscar, Burke told me. His hands smelled like chicken. A few winters later, Burke painted the back bedroom and put a wooden cage in there. He and Ava spent a lot of time just standing around by the new cage, talking. Lacey and I were bored with it all. Now that we know it's a boy, I'd like to call him Chase Samuel Trevino, Ava said at dinner. That would be wonderful. Both dads will be thrilled, Burke replied. That summer, Ava started walking strangely. Not angry walking, just a side-to-side waddle. She spent a lot of time holding her stomach, which had swollen up into a round belly, so that she looked a little like Ward the Belcher. We were upstairs in the old house one quiet afternoon. Burke and Lacey were in the new old barn, but I was with Ava. I'd a sense that she wanted me there, or perhaps that she would want me. It was an odd feeling, but I didn't question it. Knowing when you needed was just part of being a good dog. Ava was playing with the clothes on the bed. Oh, she said suddenly. Oh, no, she sank to her knees. Oh, an odd pain radiated off her. I whined anxiously. Where did I put my phone? She whispered. This is too sudden. I barked. She was sitting on the floor, and a new strange odor wafted off her, mixed with the familiar scent of human fear. I barked again. Down below at the new old barn, Lacey answered. I went to the window. She had wheeled out of the barn and was standing there looking up at me. I barked yet again, and her reply reminded me of the time I felt sick in the field, and she barked for Burke to come get me. My boy stepped out of the barn, regarding Lacey curiously. I was barking and she was barking. He looked up at me, and I barked some more. Burke ran across the yard toward the house. I was anxious when he drove off with Ava and didn't return right away, and initially so was everyone else in the house, the tension crackling off their skin, and then suddenly they were all relaxed. People do that, change moods very quickly, and there is no sense trying to figure out why. They were all sitting after dinner in the living room and feeding Lacey meat cheese treats, which made them so happy they were laughing and talking excitedly. When Burke walked in, they all jumped to their feet and hugged him. Welcome home, Dad, Chase Dad boomed. Congratulations, Dad, Grant said. Dad. I was very confused by this, but Lacey seemed unperturbed. A few days later, Ava finally came home, carrying a tiny baby human who smelled a little sour. I was not interested, though. Lacey was right there in the middle of everyone. They passed the infant around when I went outside to see the goat. Burke liked to put the child in a shopping basket and carry him around. After a day went by, people became bored with the baby. Well, except Ava, who held him constantly. Sometimes the baby squawked and sometimes he slept quietly. Everyone called the baby Chase, which just seemed wrong. We had a Chase dad, now we had to have a Chase baby, and Burke was Burke dad. When my boy put the baby shopping basket down on a low table, I decided it was time for me to examine the thing. The child was awake and scowling at me as I approached, leading me to believe he didn't understand how important I was to the family. Ava came over and knelt on my other side, stroking me. See the baby, Oscar? I put my nose right on the baby's stomach and inhaled his odd odors. Good dog, gentle dog, Burke said softly. Good dog, Oscar. I suddenly had a strong memory of another voice saying, good dog, Bailey, a man's voice coming to me as I moved in golden light. I took another deep whiff of baby. No, not a man's voice. Ethan's voice. With a jolt, I remembered Ethan now, and I recalled more than that. I now had memories of many lives, lives I had long forgotten, not just running and playing with my boy Ethan, but helping to save people. And I recalled my girl CJ and other people I loved, Hannah and Maya, Trent, Jacob, Al. I realized, a dog who had been born and reborn over and over and over, living a vital purpose, fulfilling an important promise. I did our lives. Sorry. I did not know why I had forgotten or why I remembered it now, but I did remember. I remembered everything. I had been Toby and Molly and Ellie and Max and Buddy and Bailey. And now I knew who this was. This baby sitting in this basket in front of me, his eyes squeezed shut. As easily as I could recognize Lacey, no matter if she was Janji or Lady or any other dog. I could recognize this tiny little person. It was Ethan. The end. Thanks for sharing the book with me. Ethan.